One. Hey there, everybody. It's Georgia London with Valentina Cirasola. I hope I said that correctly. And I am so excited to have Valentina with me on the Women Inspiring Women show today, every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. That's noon Pacific time. And I believe it's 7 p.m. UK time. Correct me, all my friends in the UK, if that's not right, but I think that's correct. Anyway, I'm so happy to have Valentina here. She's a member of the Be Boldly Brilliant Facebook group, participated actively in the 5-day Facebook Rock Your Facebook Live challenge back in September. She is just an interior designer extraordinaire, as you can see with her beautiful background that she has. Welcome, Valentina.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Georgia, for inviting me to the show. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited. There's just so much that you can share with us and tell us. Before we get into our topic, which is holiday decor, I'm so excited about that. Tell me a little bit about, you and your business and, just share with us what you do.
Well, as you said, I'm an interior designer. And in the last few years, maybe 6, 7 years, I have added fashion to my business because my first degree was in fashion stylist and merchandising. So I had a business in fashion when I was in Italy for many, many years. And then I started the business of interior there because fashion and interiors, it's all about building proportions, building styles, building colors, building things that will speak harmony to the viewer and to the people who live in the environment, or people who live with clothes that are good for their personality. So they're intertwined, even though they seem to be two different field, but they're not. They're really related and they have very much in common. So in the last 6, 7 years or so, I have incorporated fashion into my business of interior, which I've had for next year will be 29 years. I can even say that. I don't know where they went, but I sure made a lot of people happy for 29 years. So that's why I needed something new, different. As long as I was in the design field, as long as I was still there, then adding things to it, it was just a plus. So that's what I've been doing, basically, making people happy.
I love that, Valentina. I love that. And I love the way you tie it in. That's something I never really considered, but you're so right that fashion and design of your home, they all tie in together because it's really speaking about you. And I love the way you said, speak with harmony, that the two speak with harmony in our lives. And I know for me, like, if I'm out of sync with what I'm wearing, if it doesn't feel right or it doesn't fit right, then I'm not right. And the same thing about my home.
Right.
So I had, like 24 people in my house for 2 weeks and at Thanksgiving time. And it just was, things were everywhere and it was so out of kilter. I was like, oh, what a challenge. So I really understand what you mean about, having a home and having your fashion be in harmony. That's a really, really important point.
Because, we actually wear colors that we like to live in. So if those colors are on you and you put them into your home, it's even more, you actually make the harmony for yourself because they are all related. And so you go out with those clothes, and then when you go out, you feel like you're well put together. Same thing when you return home. If the home is organized and well put together with the colors and the lighting that are good for you, then it's even better. You feel like you're returning to your own self. In fact, the home is a cocoon where we return to. right? And so to me, everything has to be harmonized. So I
Yeah,
think that
beautiful. And it's
a
so true.
lot of
You
income.
return to yourself. When we home is so important, and sometimes we neglect it. Sometimes we take it for granted. And it's so true that, when we come home to our actual physical home, if it's not in balance, or in harmony, then we feel out of balance, and we're not being true to ourselves. It's so much better when you can come home to a nice clean house and everything looks the way you want it to look. And at least for me, I feel like like you said, I'm returning to myself. That's
Yes,
another
yes.
beautiful expression.
And also the home, most people consider the home a container of things to just fill up. And once it's filled up, it's very difficult to keep it organized. So that's what most people have problem with. The house is full of stuff and very little organization or very little programs of what needs to be happening in the home. So I think most people, we do consider a cocoon, but once it's filled with things, there is no positive energy flowing anywhere. And people feel overwhelmed that, oh, I have a pile of papers here, a pile of clothes to iron here, a pile of things to put together in the closet, and it becomes an overwhelming situation. And that's when they let go.
Yeah.
And then trouble starts.
That's true. That's so true. I would love to have my life more simplistic. I'm always striving to have a more simplistic life and not a minimalist life. I know minimalism has taken off in the last few years, and people are looking for all that white space in their homes and in their lives. And I'm not fully there, but I do like um, my home organized, just like I like my house organized. I like my life organized. That's really important for me anyway, to have that, because I feel out of balance if I'm not organized.
But minimalism is not for everybody. I'm not a minimalist either. Actually, I consider myself a maximalist. I do have a lot, a lot. Like, for instance, pictures. I have a lot of pictures and very little walls because I have a lot of windows. So what do? I put them all up and then rotate the pictures every so often. So I get to see them all. And the ones that I put away, they are in the garage, well organized, covered, and everything. And when it's time, every 2, 3 months, I take the pictures out and move them around and rotate them. So I'm a maximalist because I surround myself with things that I like.
Oh, I love that. I love it.
And I have never created a focal point in my work, not in my work, but in my house, because I said, this is my house. I don't want to decorate with rules. So I broke all the rules and I did everything that I'm not supposed to do. But it's fine with me because it's my house and that's the way I want it. So for that, because I broke all the rules, it is actually a lot to see. The eye doesn't focus on one thing, a focal point. There is no focal point. Everything is to be admired and to have the brain stop and say, wow, why did you do this? How did you do that? Because everything has to be, to me, in my mind, people who come here has to feel intrigued, entertained by the interiors. And so, like, for instance, here you don't see it because it's close to the window. I have a hot air balloon. It's made of wood that someone made. I bought it. It's a big piece of decorative item that it's under the ceiling, and it's behind my computer near the window, and I see it every day. It makes me feel so happy because it's colorful. It has an antique feel because obviously hot air balloon were not made today, and has people in it. They're miniature people made of wood that say hello to the people down below. So it makes me feel so happy. It is like I'm flying to my dream every day. When I want to look for inspiration, I look at this. I call it the Montgolfier because the hot air balloon was invented by a man called Montgolfier. So that's what we call it in Europe. We call it the Montgolfier. And I look at it when I want to be inspired. That's where my eyes are drawn to.
That's wonderful. That's beautiful. I think that's so true. You know, I love that maximalist. I didn't know what I was. Now I do. I'm a maximalist. And it's because, you know, I have also been working for at least 30 to 40 years. And I have been given so many gifts, you know, not just by family and friends, but by a lot of clients. And it's such a challenge. I once hired a personal organizer and she wanted me to get rid of this and get rid of that and get rid of, and I'm like, no, I can't do that because this was given to me in love, with love. And I just, when I look at it, I feel loved. And, you know, how can I let that go? So, so I like that. And I like the idea of rotating the paintings. I think that's what I'm going to do because in my office, I have a wall to wall bookcase and I have all these gifts, you know, and they're everywhere and they are just like cluttered together. So I know what she was saying that, you know, a little organization would help. So maybe that's what I do is put a few of those things out that I feel loved by and then move them to another place and move new ones in every couple of months so that I get to see all of them and have special attention to them rather than just having them squandered like all over the place. So what a great idea that is to
and
move
also,
things.
another thing that I do often, and I do it with people as well, not just in my home, I float the furniture. Floating means change the position of what you have seen forever in the same spot. Change it. Put it somewhere else. Bring it in and out from different rooms. And you will see how things change in your mind. Your vision will change. Not your vision, your view of what you've seen will change and it will become new. Even though you've seen those objects all the time, but they will become new because they are in a new location. And so the light and the space will bring different feel to what you change. Let's say you have a chair, just to make an example, made of silk. If you have it in a dark place, you probably do not see the nuances of the silk. If there is a pattern in the silk, if there is the way the thread has been weaved, but if you put it in a light in a different place with a different light, and then you'll see everything that you have not seen before. And so that's called floating. You float things around and make it different.
That's wonderful. I love that floating. That's a great,
So
great
move
description.
the energy. You will feel the energy. It becomes very different.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to put that into practice this weekend. Anyway, let me move on a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your book. I just read your new book that came out, and it was all about a trip to Italy. And I know you're from Italy, so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, a couple of years ago, I just told a few friends I was going home. I was just going home. And they've never seen this area where I'm from because vacation times for Americans is very limited. They have very limited times. And when they go, let's say to Italy or any other foreign country, they go to the main cities that everybody knows. So when they go to Italy, they go to Rome, Florence, Venice, and back home. So they've missed half of Italy or more than half because Italy has 22 regions. They're like states here, right? The region, they are different from each other. They speak different dialects from each other, different food. And the history, all the 22 regions have contributed to the history of Italy. So there is basically an Italy that it's undiscovered by tourists. And so and the region that I'm talking about is Puglia. It's right on the water on the east side, which is the same size of Venice. So if people say, where is it located? It's on the same side of Venice, except down on in the south. So I was going home to visit my family, and these friends came along. We want to come. Fine, let's make a trip. And when they got there, I told them, I said, take your watches out and leave them in the hotel. And if you can, stay away from your cell and everything else. Leave everything in the hotel. Do without. For 15 days, do without all your technology. You will find that life here is totally different. And so they did. Well, the stuff that came out of that trip, it was just incredible. There was one day, for instance, we were cooking, okay, with friends over there, from my friends, local people. We were in a farmhouse and we were cooking, and some of us opened the tomato can, the can of tomatoes, and this guy drank out of the can because he thought it was tomato juice. No, it's not. This is just the sauce. The sauce that we're going to put in the food. But things that came out, it was just incredible. They had fun. They did not realize that this was an area rich of history and culture. So one guy challenged me and he said, "Why don't you write a book?" I said, "Actually, I am writing a design book at the moment." He said, "Why don't you write this one?" I said, "Okay, I will." "And what are you going to call it?" I just thought for a split of a second, and I said, the road to top of the world. That's it. Done. It was done. When I said that, the book was, to me, in my mind, was already published. So I wrote it, and now it's out, and now I'm writing the next designing book that is going to come out next year. But I wanted to push this one, this travel narrative.
It was beautiful. It's such a warm, reading of, another area of Italy. Like you said, there's so many undiscovered parts of every country, and especially Italy, that, that there's the 22 regions and there's all the different history and the different foods and, so much to discover. And I think it's so much different when you go out away from the main cities. You do the tourist thing. But when you can go and really live with the people and live in the area and really take it in as real life, not just a tourist kind of trappy place, but real life, it's so different. And I really got that when I read your book. I was very excited about that. And, I get so many people who ask me to write, a review on Amazon for them and things like that. And I absolutely do it for my clients, but it's rare that I'll do it for someone. And for you, as soon as I saw the book, I was like, absolutely, I'm going to read this book. And I did, and I loved it. And so I wrote a review, and that's how important it was to me. I got so excited. It was like Italy was on my, my bucket list, but it jumped like 10 spaces to the top. And I think Italy will be in my brain for 2019.
You should, because it's beautiful. Italy in general has always been a very attractive country to go visit. There is a lot to see, a lot of history and art. It's a concentration of art. It's the most concentrated country in the whole world because it's very small. You know that from south to north, it takes only 8 hours by car.
Wow.
Done. And you're finished. From west to east, 4 hours by car, and you're done with the country. So it's very small. It's like California, more or less. And so that's why the art is concentrated, because there's just so much to see.
Yeah.
But, next year I'm going again. So whoever comes along, then we'll have a different treat, because I don't go to the same places every year. I go to different places, and there are things that people want to discover. So coming
Great.
with a local person is easier.
Yes, it is. It's very different when it's someone's home or someone
Yeah.
knows the place so well, and it's very different. So we'll definitely put in the comments below a
Yes.
link to the book in Amazon for everybody who wants to read that. It's a great travel book, cookbook, uh, person self-development book. I mean, it's a travel book. It's every book you can think of rolled into one. So everybody, I'll put that again in the comments below. But let's get on to our topic today,
Yes.
which is holiday decor. So any tips, tricks, anything you want to say about holiday decor?
Well, I understand that here in America, the bigger the better. You know, everything that is has to be big, large. It's fine. Nothing wrong with that. If people have time or help to do all of that, it is very, very fine. And I also admire people who can put 5 Christmas trees in the house or a Christmas tree for each room, like I have seen it. It is something to look at. It is something to admire. Ah, beautiful, really beautiful. But I don't have that time, and I don't have help to come and do all of that work. So I still want my house to be decorated for the holidays in the simple and elegant way. For instance, just have an idea. Behind me, you see 2 glass trees. You see those 2 glass trees? They're glass.
Oh, that's great.
And, and
Beautiful.
yeah, the top of the glass are they have a velvet. Can you see them? I can
Yes.
bring it closer to the camera.
Yeah, that would be nice.
These are glass. I bought them in Italy.
Oh, yes. I can
They
see
have
that now.
velvet. You see
Beautiful.
velvet on top? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I have 6 of these, and what I do, I divide them in a room. In this room, I have 6 trees. So this one, then I have a little soldier for the nutcracker.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, I have some white and gold cones, real cones that I picked from the park where I go walk. I painted them. I spray painted it white and then gold, and I have them on the other side. The other side of the room has the other 2 trees, and I have balls that I made myself, Christmas balls. You know, I made it with papier mache and all. It's something I do every so often. That's it. Done. Because to take down 6 of these trees and few other little decorations, it's easy. It takes 15 minutes to put them up and to put them down. So in the rest of the rooms, what I do, I play with lights. I am big in sculpting with lights. So I do a lot of lights decorating. So for instance, I don't have a Christmas tree because I don't have room for big, huge Christmas tree. But I've been collecting for years the Dickens Fair, Dickens houses. They're hand painted homes. They're illuminated, and so I created a city, a village with these houses where
Beautiful.
there is no police, no political people, no. It's just theater, shops, schools, fun things, pubs, and that's it. And people dancing. And then I have a train that goes around this village, a real kids train that goes around and make noises. And there is a level that comes down, up and down, and it's all electric. And that's basically my Christmas decoration in the other room, in the living room. But what people can do when they have, let's say, small spaces or they don't have much time to put up big decoration or taking them down, so some kind of restrictions, then it's easy to decorate in like a simple way, but very, very effective. Like, for instance, you have a vase. In this vase, you can put all kinds of balls. and painted cones, and you can put shells, you can put whatever the theme of the Christmas is. So this is what they should start with first. Find a theme that you like to have. Could be Christmas on the sea, could be Christmas in the mountain, could be Christmas in the city. Find a theme, and after you find a theme, you decorate accordingly, you know. And collecting things through the year, it's fine. It's it's if, especially if they have memories, it's good to have things that have memories to put up for Christmas. But it should be done in a very fun way. Like, for instance, you have something antique and something more modern, put them together. Have a bowl, a big bowl with a lots of these mixtures, antiques, and then between put some lights, some string lights that will illuminate what's in the bowl instead of having just this dark mess. And you don't see what's underneath either. You know, the bowl will be glass, for instance, and then you can see everything that it's in the bowl.
Sounds beautiful.
For instance, on the table, the bottles, they can be decorated with the bottle faces. You know, they can be anything. It could be a mask, can be a character. So there are many, many things, but lighting is the most important things of all the decorating things, because you can highlight things from the bottom up and make it look very dramatic, because when you illuminate things from the bottom up, you create a silhouette on the wall. So sometimes what I do, and not often, I do that for Christmas. I put balls, hanging balls, not from the ceiling, but from something like, I don't know, if you have a pony wall or a door or whatever, something that hangs not too far from the ceiling. I illuminate it from the bottom. And that makes the silhouette of those balls, make it doubles, reflects the silhouette on the walls and makes it look like there are more than two or three. So sometimes inside of cabinets, I put lights. It can be those candles with batteries. But as long as, like, I see a cabinet, a black cabinet behind you, that's a good place to put a shelf, in each shelf, some lighting, some candles that are electric, you know, so even if you leave, you don't have to worry about forgetting and on and burn something. And just have the candle light flickering through the shelves. It will make that black cabinet more illuminated and more pleasant to see.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I'd love to do that. And I love the pink, I don't know if it's flowers, but the lights that you have on the opposite side of the Christmas trees.
Here,
that's very pretty. Yes.
That is a grape.
A what?
It's a grape. Grape lighting.
Uh-huh.
They are just plastic. The grape is plastic, but inside there are LED lights. So it doesn't burn. So I have them on. I have one red and one yellow. So I have them on because I like to create atmosphere. And when at night I'm in here, this is my studio. When I'm in here, I can do without the lighting all around. I have various lamps. I have this one on. The LED lights that I have on the ceiling, it's just a serpentine light. It's not recessed lighting. It's just something I created. I have that light on, and one under my table. There is a light under the table because I don't like dark places. So I illuminate my table. It looks beautiful at night. That's all I need. I don't need a bright light. Yeah. And I can still work.
That's wonderful. That's really great. Up here, I don't know if you can see it now. I'll try to move it up here. But you see this here?
Yes.
That has lights in it. And I like to have that too. It doesn't usually go there, but I had to put it up since my 2-year-old granddaughter was roaming around and it's all glass and I didn't want her to bang into it and break it and hurt herself. So
Mhm.
cut herself. So I put it up there, but maybe I'll put it down here, like you're saying, in the background of the bookcase so that it illuminates the bookcase. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I can also see my tambourine back there, right there.
Mhm. Yes.
And that was from this morning. I was using my tambourine and that's not where it goes, but I just noticed that too, that's a big white kind of looked like a clock, but it's not a
Yeah.
clock. It's a tambourine.
You can put it sideways. It's all right. And then you see the silvery.
Yeah. All right. So we're kind of getting.
Basically, I like the simplicity of the decorating Christmas. The simplicity and I like the atmosphere that I can create with other things. Like for instance, I have some carolers. They're made of acrylic and they're transparent. And because my village is 1800 of Charles Dickens, the caroler fits really well. And they have lights. They have batteries in it. So when I have it on, their body becomes full of light because they're transparent resin, and they become very, very nice. It's a glow. They glow and they give an atmosphere, and that's what I like about Christmas. I like the light because that's what it's about. It's about the new light coming into our life, which is the new baby born. It's a new light illuminating the world.
It
And
is
for
all, and
those who are Christian.
every holiday in December
Yeah.
is really about it's a light, right? It's about this, and we
Yeah.
really it's a season of lights.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Hanukkah they light candles, and Kwanzaa they light candles, and Christmas is all about the lights on the trees and lights, as you're
Right.
saying, illuminating things, and so yeah, it really is the season of lights, and the more light that we can bring into our homes, as you said, that, it's a returning to ourselves. So when we bring that light into our homes, we're bringing light into ourselves. And then that goes out into the world, right? So I love that, to be the holiday decor, to be simplistic, to have a theme, to have lots of light to reflect the holiday. And I loved what you said about how the light, bringing in the light, and that the baby is, the newness or the new light and the world, and all of that, it ties together really nicely. So I think that's a really different take on holiday decor, Valentina, but you are an original. And, that's a different take than I hear from a lot of people. You do hear here, it's about the biggest tree and the biggest this and the biggest that. And that's not really what it's about, right? It's about, it's the little things in life. It's the simple things. It's the light that gives us the
Light
courage.
it's an emblem of something that will start soon, like the new year, the new life of baby Jesus, and all the sacrifice that will bring for us. And because December is in the winter, is the darkest season, so we want to illuminate that with pleasant lights, not bright lights in your face. It's like pleasant lights. And so it is about lighting. It is about what light can create, the light of a fireplace. But also the most important thing is togetherness, because all of these things, because we have vacation, we have a period of rest. It comes together with family. It brings together family, friends, and food. And food, that's what brings people together. Breaking bread together is very important. So if we can do that at least once a year, it renews relationship even with the families.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we could be here for hours because you just named several different topics that I would love to talk with you about. But we like to keep these to 30 minutes, so we're going to kind of end it here. Any last things that you want to share with the group here? What's up? How do they get a hold of you? What can they
Well, I
know
do
how
have
to
a
connect with
website,
you?
which is Valentina, www.valentinadesigns.com. They can contact me everywhere on Facebook and Google Plus, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm everywhere on social media, so I'm easy to find. Um, Other than that, I have my other TV show as well, which is Valentina Design Universe, and that is done on real TV with studio and cameras, and that I produce a show once a month. Other than that, it's about have fun this month. Go to all the parties that people invite you to. Meet new people. Get together with people who you don't see, you haven't seen for a while. Call people. I mean, the habit of calling, we have kind of forgot what it is. Pick up the phone and call the people you haven't heard for a while. And the thing I do for Christmas, I don't send Christmas cards because they get lost. I send cards in the new year, the very first week. People receive the card, and they is the only one they see, me, with a good wish of something.
As I do the same thing, Valentina, for the same reason. I do send like digital cards, in the mail. Um, I mean, in the email, through email and things like
Mhm.
that. But the real handmade cards that I send to a select few, in my life,
Yeah.
I make the cards and I send them for Valentine's Day, because I see Valentine's Day as just the day of love and I want to share that love with folks. And so that's when I send that. So that's a great idea to, find a special time to send your love out to people. And the first week in the new year is a perfect time to fill
Yeah.
up the whole year with that. Thank you so much for being a guest here on the Women
Thank
Inspiring
you.
Women show. We're going to
Thank
put in
you.
the down below in the comments, we're going to put all of Valentina's links that you can connect with her. Go buy her book. Check her out in terms of design if you need a little help with that. She's got so many things that she's going to be offering this year. I'm so excited for her. She is just an amazing interior designer. I always say you're the interior designer extraordinaire. Like I'm just so
Thank you.
happy. And
I
I've
look
had
forward
some
to it.
great interior designers in my life, who've had spreads on national magazines and things like that. But I love the way um, the way you look at design, the way you bring your whole self into that. It is just such a beautiful thing. Tell us about your Facebook group before we end here. You have a new Facebook group.
The Facebook group is called One Beautiful Life for only one reason. Everybody can say that I'm creating a beautiful life, but it's about, they say, people say this, we live only once. It's not true. We live every day. We die once. How we live, it's important to the legacy we're going to leave once we depart this world. And so, One Beautiful Life tells people that you're here now. Do it right, do beautifully. Doesn't matter what it is. Don't care what people say about you. Don't. Just do what is beautiful for you and what makes you feel and look beautiful. That's one life we can create for ourselves beautifully. We can create anything around us beautiful. Beautiful friends, beautiful decor, beautiful clothes, beautiful food. It's one life we have. That's it.
That's wonderful. So we're going to put everything in the comments below and join Valentina's beautiful Facebook group. And I'll see you there because
Okay.
I'm a member, and so much that she has to offer. So be sure to connect with her. Again, we're going to put all that in the comments. Thank you again, Valentina, for being here. I hope to have you again sometime this year. Come back and talk to us about some of the other things that you mentioned. And for everyone else, just a reminder that Women Inspiring Women Facebook Live show is back on the air at 3 p.m. Eastern Time every Friday. And we will have women inspiring women like Valentina did today. I feel inspired for having you here. All right, everybody, we're going to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Until next time.
Okay. Bye.